Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG. Yes, I know what you're probably thinking. I lost some weight. Nah, I'm kidding. I shaved my beard and I immediately regret it. Girlfriend wanted to know what I looked like without a beard. This is what I look like. Hideous, I know. I do apologize. Trust me, I'm going to get this back as soon as I possibly can. But we are not here to talk about my lack of facial hair today. We are here to talk about Bandai and the fact that they have so many card games. Ugh. I have talked about this once before in a previous video going over the fact that I do believe Bandai is kind of stretching themselves too thin when it comes to card games. And then we got an announcement a couple days back where we're getting a new TCG project, is what they called it, which has now been revealed to be a Gundam TCG. And I don't know, I'm kind of all over the place with this one. Before we hop into the video though, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. See if we can get this video to 50 likes. I would very much appreciate that. And if you like the content we have here, which includes Dragon Ball Super Fusion World content is our priority, One Piece, occasional Pokemon, and you know, whatever TCG I want to talk about, because I love card games. So if you like that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button. You're in the right place. All right, so talking about Gundam here. I am a big fan of Gundam. I'm not a huge fan of Gundam. I am not a diehard fan of Gundam. I am not a casual fan. I like Gundam, but I will admit that most of my love of the franchise comes down to the couple of video games we've gotten over the years, as well as the anime that I watched growing up, which was primarily Gundam Wing and G Gundam. I also watched Gundam SD for a little bit. That was kind of an odd one. I've watched the original Mobile Suit Gundam, but I wasn't a huge fan of that. Gundam Wing is what really got me into the series, and some of my favorite Gundams are from Gundam Wing. I will admit I'm a little bit lost when it comes to some of the newer Gundams, where I'm like, holy crap, that is pretty crazy designs and names. I also love the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games and the Gundam Breaker games, so overall, I like Gundam. So hearing this intrigues me. This intrigues me. This interests me. Now, we have kind of seen the layout of the field, which honestly is heavily similar to One Piece. So I don't know if they are going to be doing the same type of gameplay style where you have like a leader, a resource pile, life, stuff like that, but it looks to be pretty similar to that. Who knows? They'll probably add a little bit of a twist in it because it is Gundam and we love to, you know, they want to probably put a little bit of a twist on it that relates to Gundams. Maybe there'd be a pilot who, you pick your pilot, which has a skill, and then you have your Gundam, which has its own skill, and you combine the two, and that's how you build, that's how you want to build your deck around, you know, an archetype or a particular play style involving the pilot and the Gundam. Who knows? I think this is really cool, but do we need another TCG without any of these other ones retiring? I'm not too sure about that, but I am very excited to at least get a, you know, look at it. If they come out with Gundam Wing or G Gundam stuff, you know, for launch, I will be much more interested in playing it, and hopefully there is a Wing Zero in the near future. But yeah, so far that looks pretty cool. Let's talk about the card games that are currently in circulation. And let's start off with my personal favorite right now, which is Fusion World. Fusion World, I think, started off pretty rocky. There was a severe lack of product, severe lack of interest in the game when it was first announced. Because let's face it here, Bandai really dropped the ball with announcing the Dragon Ball Super card game client at Nationals in 2022, which I was there, sitting right behind Chris from Uni XTCG. Shout out to my guy. And I remember being so hyped about this, and then months later revealing, oh hey, that client is now turning into a completely separate game client, and we're getting a new card game. But I think right now, Fusion World is at a very good spot. Sure, buying sealed product may not be the most cost-effective way. If you are trying to collect and you just like ripping boxes, sure, go support your local LGS. Maybe they might have boxes at like $80, $85, but for the most part, you are going to see boxes sitting around the $100 range, which is, unfortunately, depending on which set you go with, is quite a bit more than they probably should. But I think right now is a great time to get into the game. It's never been cheaper. You can build a very good competitive deck for probably less than $100, depending on which color you want to play. Blue, you're probably looking to spend a little bit more, but blue is also really, really good. You know, that's why I play it. And the tournament scene is starting to get bigger. We're getting into set 4 Ultra Limit. I just think right now is a great time to play the game. And I'm not just saying that because I enjoyed this game a lot right now. It is just, I think it's a fun game. It's Dragon Ball Super Masters minus some of the more annoying or more convoluted or more complicated things in the game. It's a very simple punch your opponent, block, you're managing your resources a lot more in this game. And yeah, I really do like it. I think it is a great time to get into the game. There are more locals. There are more big events happening. The head judge of the game has said there's going to be an announcement soon regarding both Fusion World and Masters. So I'm very, very excited to look into that personally. But yeah, I think right now Fusion World's in a great spot, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from there. Next up, we have One Piece. One Piece, honestly, is right now Bandai's cash cow. It is the most popular game in their repertoire. You got to admit it, it is. You have celebrities getting into the game. One Piece has grown in recent years to be this huge, monumental franchise. And it's it's still the longest manga in history. I'm fairly positive about that. But the game is not, it's not just riding off the hype of the IP. One Piece is a good game. I really do like the game. We have really good locals here. Blue Dofi is my boy. I love the deck. I've been playing it since set 1. We just had set 8 release, and we are getting into set 9 next set, which is very, very, very popular right now because it features the 4 Emperors and a lot of really cool archetypes, as well as a premium booster box that is going to be reprinting a lot of older cards. Now, the problem though with One Piece is it is damn near impossible to play this game competitively because the big regionals fill up so quickly. Everyone wants to get on the regionals for this game because the prize cards are worth bank. That is one of the best reasons to play One Piece right now for a lot of people, unfortunately, is just to make money off of the prize cards. Do well, sell prize cards, collect profit. Basically how that works. But this game is good. This game is really, really fun. I understand why, it's a combination of the game is good, and yes, the cards are very, very valuable. But we also have to look at the fact that it is very, very difficult to find some of the older product for this game, so you can build some of these really, really good decks because they require older cards that were only printed in like starter decks or very early sets, which are a little bit more expensive to get instead of just buying packs. Sometimes. I will admit though, lately it seems like they are starting to really print a lot of product. They're more than meeting demand. The game is flourishing. So I also agree. Right now is a great time to play the One Piece card game, especially with the next premium set coming out, reprinting a bunch of older stuff that people want, along with alternate arts, and it's great. It's really, really good. I highly recommend One Piece. Next, we have Digimon. Digimon, I believe, was Bandai's second TCG that they started they started up with after the original Dragon Ball Super card game, and it's doing pretty well. I bought 2 starter decks just so I could learn to play the game if I wanted to. I played a couple of games. It's not bad. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but I can understand why people like it. The artwork for this game, I will admit, is crisp. I really like the artwork on these cards. Shout out to my favorite, Digimon ever, War Greymon. Love that guy. He's basically the Charizard of the Digimon world. The game is... We do occasionally get some crossover from players playing Digimon into Dragon Ball or One Piece, and the reason I know that is because they use the same terminology, like, oh, your security check or your data or whatever the case may be. But it's cool. I like it. It's a neat game, but just not something that I'm personally into. My locals for this game does not exist. Briefly, we had a little scene for this game, but it has since died out. Unfortunately, My Locals has a bunch of boxes of the previous sets that will never be bought because the game is dead where I'm at. But the game is not dead when I see pictures of big tournaments. And hell, at the Peoria event for Dragon Ball a couple months back, there was also a regional for Digimon happening, and unfortunately there was about 3 times the players for Digimon than there were for Fusion World at that time. And this is of course before Set 3's launch and during a awful time in the meta during Set 2 where Top Coup was just completely dominating everything. So the vendors were mostly selling Digimon cards. So I'd say Digimon is still one of Bandai's most profitable IPs. It's honestly, I would want to say it might be their second most profitable IP. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely after One Piece. Dragon Ball is up there, but I think based off of regional attendance, it just seems like Digimon's their next favorite. But yeah, I think Digimon's a neat game. Just check your locals. It's seemingly very popular in certain areas and dead in a lot of other places. Next, we have the brand new card game, Union Arena. This one, my roommate Jimmy has been very, very excited about. You've seen him on the channel before when we did One Piece content together. And I admit, this is actually a really sick-looking game. It is amalgamation of all these different IPs. Obviously, on screen here, you see Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, and Jujutsu Kaisen. Currently, they just released, at the time of recording this video, it was yesterday, they just released the starter decks for Bleach and Hunter x Hunter, as well as the first of its booster boxes, which, funny enough, in this game, it's not like you buy one box in Union Arena and you can get different characters from different IPs. No, you want to play specifically Bleach, you buy the Bleach booster box. You want to play Hunter x Hunter, you buy the Hunter x Hunter booster box. It's very weird in that aspect. So, like, it's almost like they're unnecessarily making more cards and printing more boxes than they need to, because they have different, IPs, so many different IPs, and that they are, I don't know, I just wasn't expecting them to, separate the different IPs in different boxes, but you know what, that's fine with me. I've picked up 2 starter decks. I want to learn how to play this game because I love Bleach. It's one of my favorites. I love Jujutsu Kaisen as well, and that one is coming up in November, so we have a little bit of time for that. But it does appear that some of this product is a little short. Hell, our locals only got a single box of Bleach, even though they had ordered more. He doesn't know why they didn't get the rest in. But yeah, it looks to be a very decent competitive game, as well as the fact that the alt arts and the special hit cards and chase cards in this set look phenomenal. Plus, if you do love any of the IPs, we are getting things like One Punch Man, characters from Tales of Arise. We are getting, oh my god, I'm blanking on some things. Oh, Demon Slayer. So like, there's a bunch of really cool IPs that will be getting thrown into this game. So look out for it. I think you should at least give it a shot. There is a digital tutorial you can download on your phone and play. I'd recommend doing that. And it plays very different than a lot of other Bandai games, for sure. Next, we have, of course, the original, the forefather of Bandai games, Dragon Ball Super Masters. Now, this game has kind of hit a low point lately, especially with since the announcement of Fusion World. The game has been going on since 2017. I love this game. It is near dear to my heart. This is the card game I felt like I really invested my time and energy into, going to regionals, going to nationals in 2022 with my brother, and placing 300th out of 500. So you know what, not amazing, but I'm proud of what I did, especially going 12, almost 14 hours straight of playing. It was insane. This game, I think, has really revitalized in the last year or so, releasing a lot of amazing sets that helped reinvigorate the meta, as well as having some of the best artwork, and in my opinion, probably the best artwork in this game. Hands down, I love this artwork. They've started taking things from like One Piece, and which was alternate art leaders in recent years, so those adding more chase cards into the game as well. The cards were so dirt cheap for the longest time, but like I said, in the last year or so, card prices have started going up again. So the players that really love this game are really showing their support and wanting to make sure it lasts, because a lot of people think that this is one of the first games to go if Bandai needs to cut a card game. I don't think so. I think there is a space for this game, not just because I'm a Dragon Ball fan, but because I do believe that this game is probably one of the most competitive, not the most thought-inducing card games out there right now, for sure. Now, the problem is that this game, unfortunately, is dead in a lot of places. When the announcement of Fusion World happened, a lot of people sold off their collections, and a lot of other stores decided to stop selling this product because they thought, oh, well, it's being rebooted, not knowing that Fusion World is technically a separate, simpler game. And what Bandai has said is they want people that play Fusion World to eventually feel confident enough to jump into the Masters pool. And I think that's a really, really cool thing to, hope for. The problem is that this game is very complicated in comparison to Fusion World, as well as the fact that the game spans so many different sets. We are about to have set 26 release. That is not including expansions or special sets, and there's thousands upon thousands of cards that you may need to look into. Some of those cards are pretty darn expensive, especially if you're looking to get your one of secret rare that you run in the deck, which depending on the card you pick could be anywhere from like $15 to as high as like $300. So it's a very costly game depending on the deck you build. But if you are looking for that competitive edge, I do think Masters is a very, very good card game for you. It's just, unfortunately, the local scene just isn't doing so well, and attendance rates for regionals are on the decline, especially with the recent ban list not banning anything and going into their world finals, and I think it's the world finals, and not a lot of people are happy. It definitely feels like Bandai, besides the fact that they're printing amazing artwork for this game, they don't seem to be really supporting this game as much as they used to. But I still think it's a really cool card game if you really want to scratch that competitive, like, strategic itch, And then, of course, we have kind of like the black sheep of the family, which is Battle Spirit Saga. It is a reboot of a very, very old card game, from what I've been told. I've played it a handful of times, and honestly, And this is, of course, my opinion. I'm not saying the game is bad, but I don't know. The artwork is really, really cool. I like the card designs, but at the same time, I don't know. It didn't really do anything for me. I do have some starter decks just so I can play them. That's my thing. I like to get starter decks of almost every game just so I can play the game if I want to. The game is not doing so hot. I really don't hear too many things about this game. Bandai went all in on this. Like, the first ever, like, Battle Spirit Saga big tournament, there was like $200,000 in prizing. They really went all in, and just, it wasn't very successful. I know they are still printing things, and I know they do a lot of collaborations. Like, there was a set with Gundam characters. There's a set with Evangelion. I think I pronounced that correctly. But the game just, I don't know. I don't hear anybody talking about it. I do know there are still regionals happening for this game, and there's still sets being released, but for the most part, my locals, once again, has so much of this set, of these sets just hanging on their shelf because no one buys them. The game is dead where we are. Unfortunate. But I don't know. Look into it. It's very, very cheap to get into, I think, right now because of that. So if you are looking for something a little different, sure, give Battle Spirit Saga a chance. But honestly, a lot of people would say this is the game that they would put first on the chopping block if Bandai needed to cut games. People say the same thing with Masters, but I think Masters honestly has more presence than Battle Spirits. But that's just from what I've been seeing. And I think finally we have the brand new card game that just released yesterday at the time of recording this video. Same as, just released yesterday. Not the same as Union Arena. Union Arena's pre-release weekend, I think, is this weekend. But anyway, Sandland Tactical Battle. It is an IP based around the anime Sandland, another piece of work done by Akira Toriyama. Rest in peace. I don't know why I did the nose thing. I meant to do the lips thing, but yeah. So this is a very interesting card game. As you can tell, it's not built quite like a typical Bandai game. Neither is Battle Spirits, mind you, or Union Arena. But the game is more of a tactics-based game. You buy a starter deck, and you don't even know what the deck actually is going to be. It is a random deck with a random leader, and it's more of like a strategic tabletop game than it is a typical game. But it was developed by one of the creators of Magic the Gathering, from what I've been told, so I think there's some potential there. The problem is, once again, this kind of released and nobody was really talking about it. I went on TCGplayer.com and could not find any product for this game. Hell, the only listings I saw were on eBay. But typically you can get a starter deck for like 13, 15 bucks. You know, it's like I said, it's random. You just buy a deck, crack it open, see what you get, and boom, start playing with it. It's not one of those decks where like you get a set. Like you don't buy booster boxes and packs to build a deck. You just buy starter decks. And that's, I think, a really interesting concept. But once again, no one really seems to be talking about this, unfortunately. I do want to get some starter decks just to test this out. Unfortunately, my LGS did not receive any product, even though they were sure they ordered some. So he's trying to figure out where they went. But I'll give this a shot once I see some product on the shelf. Look out for this one. I think this is going to be a very interesting card game. I don't know if this will do well, especially since no one's really talking about it since release. But I think, you know, if you like Magic the Gathering, you might find something interesting in this game. But who knows? We'll have to find out. But yeah, those are all the card games currently being produced by Bandai. And of course, a lot of them are still, you know, Gundam is coming out, and Union Arena and Sandland are just starting. So we'll have to see where those go. But for the most part, those are the kind of statuses of all the other card games as far as I'm aware. Let me know in the comments down below which card game of these is your favorite, and which card game do you think they need to cut back on, because good lord in heaven, Bandai, you have too many games. With Gundam, this will be 7 games. 7 games in printing. Your fans... I like to play a couple card games, but the way that they release One Piece and Dragon Ball, I'm never able to afford like to get too much of any particular set. I'm gonna prioritize Dragon Ball, of course, but they're releasing too many games. Anyway, that's a whole other video. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video, though. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to hit that like button. Let's try to get this video to 50 likes. I would very much appreciate that. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed my ranting and you like Dragon Ball card game related content, as well as other TCGs. You're in the right place here. And until the next video, take care. And I promise I'll grow my beard back as quick as I can. My face is cold.